Okay.
So thanks
Nice.
for participating. Um,
No
First of all, tell us your full legal name. What was on your government ID? I know you came young, and you were orphaned. Was there a legal name that you know, or did you?
I was given a name by birth, just Chiang.
Chien,
Yes.
and so that was what you're known by since.
That's all I know when I left the country.
So no family name attached to it then?
When we do an interview to come to America from the refugee camp, it is required we have a last name. So I didn't know the last name that we go by, or we ever gone by one. So they asked for the last name, so I just remember my dad's name.
Mhm.
So I just remember that his name was Jab.
So you took his given name as your last name.
Yeah, my dad's first name is last name, so
Mhm.
so it's Jab Chiang.
So what is
together.
that? That's what's on your government ID here.
Yes, driver's license,
Mhm.
no, not birth certificate. There was not one.
Do you have a passport?
Social Security and passport. Yes.
Okay. Were you called by other names when you were young?
When I came here to America, yes, I was given a nickname of Nike.
Nike.
Yeah,
And how did that come about?
it's because
Have anything to do with the shoe, or?
yes, definitely had to do with the shoes. Cause I was playing a lot of basketball when I was younger, and that kept me out of a lot of trouble. So
Yeah.
church basketball, and we were competing at the Eximino building here in Long Beach. One of the coach was a young man leader, so he was coaching us at basketball too. And he's out of this ward actually, Atherton, and his name is Bishop Thompson.
Yeah.
He was Brother Thompson before that, and we were running in a basketball, and he couldn't call me by my real name, so he couldn't think of my name. So he looked at the shoes that I was wearing and said, "Okay, from now on, you'll be known as Nike."
And that caught on.
That caught on.
So does everybody call you Nike mostly, or?
Mostly Nike, yeah.
So did you remember any other childhood names that you had, or nicknames?
No.
No. So in the U.S. you've been called Nike for a while.
Yes, since 1986.
How about in school? What were you called in school then?
School, my friend that plays ball with me, that members of the church, they know me by Nike.
Mhm.
Yeah, they call me by Nike.
What did the teachers call you?
My teacher called me,
Your legal name in the United States?
my teacher don't really call me.
They didn't call you anything.
No.
Or maybe Nike.
Yeah.
So have you learned other languages besides Khmer? Did you ever, when you were in refugee camp, were you Thai at all, or Lao, or?
That's one thing I really regret, is that in the refugee camp we were given an opportunity to learn Khmer, how to read, write, and all that,
Mhm.
because we couldn't do it during the Khmer Rouge era.
Mhm.
It's not legal.
Mhm.
We are educated, we were executors, and I didn't take the opportunity because I work instead of educate myself.
Mhm.
People tell me, adult told me to go to class and go to school and learn the language and reading and writing, but I didn't do it. I went to work instead, earning $1 per day selling porridge.
So did you ever learn to read and write in Khmer?
When I came here to America, yes, I really regret it. So I felt like I need to do something. I went to the Bayonne market in Long Beach
Mhm.
and bought myself some book, literature, how to read,
How to read it.
learn the alphabet, and then how to read and then write. I don't write that well because some words are not the same. When you say it, it sounds different.
Yeah. But
So-
at least you have basic literacy now.
Yeah.
And
Just
so,
enough.
how old are you now?
I am now legally in the United States 48 next month.
So do you think that that's not your actual age, or?
That's the age that was given. It was a guessing age when I applied to come to America from the refugee camp in Surin.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy looked at me like, "Oh, you look like 12 years old. Okay, you're 12."
So you weren't sure when you came. You're not sure you were 12.
No. I
So-
don't.
So it's not something you talked about growing up about age or birthdays?
It's not important.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as birthday over
Because
there.
most Cambodians count the first of the year as birthday, right?
Khmer New Year.
Khmer New Year or whatever.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, but
So do you know what? So you don't know what zodiac year you were born in, or do you claim one?
I talk to different people, and some say that I was a chicken, some say I was a snake, some say I was a rabbit.
So you're not sure, but
So-
you don't identify with any of the zodiac years necessarily. So do you? What year's birth show on your passport?
They asked for the date of birth in the refugee camp when I first applied to come here. They make up the day. Oh, since you're 12 years old, they say, okay, what day? What month? They just say, oh, April. April is number 4.
Say
And
April 4th, and then
So we say,
year?
what day? Since April is the 4th month, April 4th. Good.
Yeah. And then what year?
I'm stuck with that date of birth,
So what was the date? What's the date of birth on your passport?
April 4th.
No, the year. Sorry,
April 4th, 1970.
70.
Yeah.
Okay. So are you married?
I am.
So do you have children or?
I have 4,
Uh-huh.
3 boys, 1 girl. The oldest is serving his mission in Japan, Tokyo South Mission.
And so do your kids speak Khmer?
I wish. I
But
tried.
Not so much.
Yeah, they don't have any interest learning the language. They don't understand the importance.
So, but your wife is Cambodian speaking too?
My wife, she speaks a few words of Cambodian, but
she-
she's fluent in Thai.
Is she ethnically Cambodian?
She's Thai.
Oh, she's Thai.
Yeah.
But how did you meet?
Oh yeah. That's a long story, but
Give me the short version.
yeah. When I was in the refugee camp, before the refugee camp, I was traded to a Thai family in Thailand, and they took me, and one day end up in Surin, and I saw these tigers. They were going to school. They dressed up in uniform, white and blue, and I was like, wow, they look very cute. I say one day I want to marry a Thai woman, and not knowing what I said back then, but
It's going to come to pass.
yeah, it stuck with me ever since.
So, but you don't know Thai yourself?
I know
No,
Thai.
do you speak Thai reasonably well?
Yes.
So do you speak Thai with your wife at all? Or?
When she wants to speak with me in Thai, yes.
Sometimes in the right situation,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
She doesn't believe
So,
that I
but,
speak.
so you actually met in the refugee camp?
No, I'm.
Oh, I see. You
Yeah.
start to think about Thai young women at that point. Did you met here then, or?
I met her here in Long Beach City College at the Long Beach Institute.
I see.
Yeah, at a fireside.
Oh, that's great. It's a good place to meet.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you know? Did you remember your parents?
I know their first name, their first names.
What were their first names?
My dad's name is Jab, which translates as a bird,
Yeah.
and my mother's name is Ha. I don't know any meaning to that.
Okay, but you don't know a family name for a surname. Do you have any idea what their surname or family name was?
I found out now
Okay.
that my mother's name is Ha and then Lei,
Uh-huh.
and my father's name is Jab and last name of Plum,
Plum.
yeah, which I didn't know that.
How did you find that out?
Since I came to America, and I was alone for 30-some years, and I've been praying and asking Heavenly Father, say I'd like to have an opportunity just to meet my parents, my family, especially my mother, once again, just to let them know that, I love her, to thank her for all the things she's done for me. I've been praying for 30-some years, and after my mission, I came back, got married to my wife, who is Thai. This is the part where I tell you the long story, is that not knowing beforehand that the wife that I married to, she has relatives in Thailand. When we went back to Thailand to visit the relatives, 2-3 different times. The first 2 times they said, they asked me if I want to go look for my family member by going to the Thai embassy or Khmer embassy in Thailand. And I refused the first 2 times. And the third time, I say, oh, I'm running out of place to visit in Thailand. So, okay, let's go take a stab at it. The day that we went there to the Khmer embassy, talked to the people that work there, which are Khmer, and I asked them for help. I gave them the information that I have, the name of my parents, my brother and sisters. They looked at me, they said, sorry, I don't know where to start, don't know how to help you. But we do have a young lady who come all the way from Cambodia just to visit us today. Maybe you can talk to her. So I went and talked to the young lady. Her name, she called Da. She called herself Da. And I talked to her, given her the information that I have in regard to my family, the location where they possibly be at. And she ended up saying, that's where my family's from. I said, you know what? She said, give me $75, I'll take a taxi down there and I'll look for your family for you. And I said, okay. So I just didn't think about, I didn't think that I was going to have any hope or anything. But 2 days later, I was in northern Thailand. It's like 4-6 hours away from the border of Thailand and Cambodia, which is called Ranh. And that's where she's at. And she called me and said, hey, I found your family. And I was confused, excited, mixed emotion. I like, can't be real. Is somebody just claiming to be my family because they needed money? So I said, okay, give me 2 days. Drive back. We drive back down to the border, and then we met. And as soon as we got there, the border getting ready to close, and it was pouring rain. We waited for the rain to stop so we can get out and go meet each other. The rain never really stopped until like the evening before the border closed, like half an hour before the border closed. They were on the other side of the border, and I'm on the other side, which is Thailand. And finally, I said, hey, we gotta go. The border's gonna close. We walked out. The minute we walk out, rain stopped. Right? So I got a chance to go out to the other side, got permission from the guards and securities. We talked for, I went over there and then we talked for a little bit. And the first thing, my dad was trying to approach me. I recognized it was him. Totally doesn't look anything like him, but I recognized the tattoo and his face and all that. It changes a lot after 30 years. Yeah. I saw his tattoo on his neck and his chest, and I recognized that. And I noticed him on the corner of my eyes. And while talking to my sister, which turned out that wasn't my sister, it was my half-sister. And I looked over there and I saw him walking around me and trying to say something. And he opened up his mouth and he couldn't say anything. He was speechless. And I know what he's thinking. I know what he wanted to say, and I understand how he felt, because for him to trade me to a Thai family for a bag of rice, he doesn't understand that I understood.
So let's back up a second. You didn't quite tell us about that before. So he actually traded you when,
yes,
because he was in poverty. And...
Well, during the war, we were running from our home.
Yeah.
And first I separated from my mom. After a day, my mom and my oldest brother separated, gone. We waited for them for about 4 days, at a place called Janam, and they never returned. So, bye mom and oldest brother. They went on a canoe, the canoe was leaking. So we didn't get on the canoe because it was leaking. So they went toward Vietnam, and we went on land. And we were supposed to, meet at a certain location. and we waited and waited. She never showed up, so we came back to the original place, which I
So,
thought was
so
my
at
sister.
that point, who were you with at the time?
I'm now with my dad, my older brother, not the oldest, but the older brother, and 3 sisters.
Okay.
And this is before the Khmer Rouge?
This is at the
Civil
beginning,
War?
This
Oh,
was
the
the
beginning of
What year was this?
the Vietnam War. I believe it's 76.
76.
Yeah.
So that's how you separated from your family. So your dad
From-
then ended up trading you. Did you become a servant in the home then, or?
Not really. At first, we just separated from my mom and my older brother, and then when we went to the border of Thailand, the war was catching up with us. We went toward Thailand, and then while we were running around days and nights for a very, very long time, no one knows really what time, what day, or what year it is. You know, we were running for a long time. We were starving, we were hungry, we were thirsty, and we don't have much to eat. A lot of the food that we have, we just gather as we go. You know, worms, cricket, insects, or you know.
So you remember that very clearly.
Oh yeah, it's very hard to forget.
No,
It's,
I noticed it.
it's pretty vivid. And I got really sick. And when I got really sick, my stomach's like I'm 8.5 months pregnant, and
Was the water really bad too, or was?
we don't know if it's bad or good. I mean, I drank some really dirty water. Sometimes I thought it was water, but it was like animal peas.
Oh,
You know, it's in a pot, and I'm just so thirsty. I just went at it, and it was kind of muddy, cloudy, and don't taste anything like pee until I'm not done.
so you knew your family pretty well before that. I mean, you have memories. Do you remember the names of what were the names of your siblings?
Yes.
So what were their names? Could you tell us?
My oldest that went with my mother, his name is Ploy. And I found out that he stepped on a landmine in 95 and blew him to pieces. This is after the war. Yeah, some Khmer Rouge placed a bomb in front of his path.
So that was after you're separated, but you found this out later.
This is after this is way after 30 years after.
Yeah. 95, you
So
said?
when you
Yeah, in 95.
when you learned about when you reunited with some of the family, that you found that out that
Yes,
he died.
yes. I found out afterwards.
And how about your other siblings? What were their names?
My oldest sister is, we call her Bo during the war, but I found out her real name after we relocated each other. Her real name is Suam. And my sisters, 2 sisters, well, the next oldest one is my brother, Chai, which is now Chaya. He's working for UNICEF company now. And my older sister is Suam, and then my next sister is Chut, and then Bo. Bo is the youngest. So she's one after.
And so you've reconnected with all these.
Yes.
And are your parents still alive?
No. During the time when I met them at the border,
No.
because it was so little time, I told them, say, you know what, we're out of time now. I will visit you in 2 years. And 1 year went by. My dad died, and I was informed that he was on a motorcycle, in the back of the motorcycle, being taken to my hometown where the war started, and in Sua. And
So tell me again, where were you born? What?
in a place called Sua,
Okay.
close to Janam Rong Ko,
Okay.
in Kat Patambong. And I don't know all this before that. I don't even know the name of the town, but
You think you were born there though?
yeah, I know I was born
You
there.
know you were born there.
Yeah. So my dad's on his way back to town to see my mother, and on the way there, someone cut in front of the motorcycle. The motorcycle went out of control, flipped, and he landed on the ground. The motorcycle flipped and landed on top of him, damaged him internally, and he didn't have the money to go to the hospital. So he was bleeding internally, and then he died before I get a chance to go back. But my mother she passed, I believe, 2003. Yeah, I believe 2003. I'm not sure on the date.
So tell us a little bit about, how you felt over the years knowing that you were, what happened to you and how it happened. Was that hard for you to accept, or?
No. Especially after I received the gospel in 1986, I'm beginning to understand Heavenly Father's work, and because of what I understood from reading the Book of Mormon, I began to put one and one together,
And you sort of thought it was meant to be, or?
This is the work that Heavenly Father doing, and I believe that it is a blessing, because so many times that I could have died from drowning, from poison, from disease, which I didn't.
Before you met the church and accepted the gospel, were you bitter, or was it the church that helped you give perspective, or were you bitter before then, or?
No,
Never,
I was never
were,
bitter.
even before you met the church.
Right. Well, because I was a little confused, but because I was so young, I didn't understand.
You didn't think about it that way.
I didn't really process all these and put it together.
Okay.
Yeah.
We might come back to that, but do you know where your parents were born? Were they also in the same village?
I know they were born in Cambodia, but I have no idea. I never really had a chance to talk to them. The first thing when I saw my mother was when I asked her, I said, "Mom, do you know how old I am? What day I was born, what month?" So I told him that I'm guessing that my age is about this age. And he said, "You're about right."
Yeah. Okay.
That's all.
And how, do you know anything about your grandparents?
I know one. If I'm correct, I know that we have grandparent called, one is Gong, and the grandma I don't know. I believe maybe that's where my mother got her name from, is Lei. So Gong and Lei.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
But you're not sure.
Yeah, I have not had the opportunity to go back and do some more, questioning.
Do you know at least which province you were born in?
Me, province, you mean? I know I'm close to Battambang.
So you think probably around
Yeah.
Battambang.
I'm an hour and a half or 2 hour motorcycle ride.
So were they
From Battambang.
farmers?
We were strictly farmers.
So there's a good chance that they might have lived in that area for a while then.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so what else do you know about your family? Do you think, as far as you know, were they in Cambodia for a long time, or did you have any other ethnic background, Vietnamese, Chinese, anything like that you know of?
Not to my knowledge. All I know is that my dad was a boxer, and that's how he met my mother.
Yeah.
And I found this out later through a lady who's here in America.
So a traditional Cambodian boxer, traditional
yeah.
style, or
More like a kickboxer.
like Thai kickboxing?
Thai, yeah, Muay Thai type.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's how he met your mother. How does the connection with mother and meeting mother and boxing?
Well, somehow she found when she went to watch him box, and
she liked to watch boxing.
I never really get to talk to her.
But that's where she met him. So maybe she
Yeah.
must have had some connection with boxing.
Yeah.
So let's go back to sort of how you grew up. I mean, you were you were split from your parents early, and at 12, did you have formal education at all? When you got to Thailand, did you go to any kind of school?
No, I get to learn one alphabet in Cambodia, and then the war broke out. I learned the letter Ga.
You just
Very useless.
So Ga was
Yeah.
I know Ga too. So.
Yeah, that's all I know. Yeah, one day, and that's the end of it.
And so, but when you came here, so you didn't really go to school in Cambodia or Thailand then.
Correct.
So it wasn't really till you got to the United States where you started getting the formal education then.
Yes.
So what do you remember being on the farm and growing up there? Did you do work on the farm, or
Oh yeah.
was
yeah.
it rice
Yes.
or? What kind of work did you do on the farm?
Well, where we were at, mainly farming rice.
So were you out in the fields? What were you doing?
Yeah, out in the field. I'm hunting. I'm gathering. I'm
What did you hunt?
searching daily
What did you hunt?
for fish,
Oh,
fruits, vegetables, anything that's edible we find.
so were you poorer than most of your neighbors, or about the same?
We're all pretty poor.
Oh,
We're all
pretty
about the
poor.
same.
I see.
Yeah.
So did you own some land, your family?
I have no knowledge
so-
during the war or before the war. Yeah. As far as now, yes, we own.
So it sounds like your life was pretty difficult. Do you remember some fun things that you did, even despite the difficult life? Do you remember games? Did you like playing with friends? Or
Oh yeah.
so
Yeah.
what do you remember about sort of games you played and the fun you had?
There you go. Besides climbing coconut trees and picking tamarines out tamarind trees and other things, we do have some fun. We every year I watch grown-ups or adults. They were going through a New Year celebration. They were dancing and singing and all that, and I want to be a part of that. And that stayed in my head for a long time. But the game that we were playing, we call there's one game that I remember called Bot Low, which is like a small, we create a hole in the dirt about size of a quarter, and we would use the money, coins, and we try to toss the money into the hole from a marked distance, a marked position, and if you can get the money into the hole, you get to keep those. Yeah, that's one game, and the other game was rubber band. Somehow, I don't know where the rubber band came from. We have some rubber band, and we draw a big old circle and put the rubber band inside. With the sand that we have, we use that to try to toss it from a marked distance again. I don't know, maybe 20 feet or so. And we toss it at the rubber band. If the rubber band was hit by the sandal and it goes outside the circle, you get to keep those.
I see.
Yeah. The other one that we play was rubber band too, but we hang them up on like a stick like this, and we roll up the rubber band, and we mark a location, and we shot at the rubber band that was rolled up and on a stick. If you knock it down and it moves out of that circle, you get to keep that. And the one other thing that we like to really play was the marble games.
Yeah.
We drew a line on the dirt. I don't know how or where we got the marble from. To me, that was really amazing. Look, marble, because it has different shapes and size and color, beautifully. So we got the marble. Each of us have a certain number of marbles. So we draw a line, and then we draw like a rectangle shape around the line. We put the marble inside, line them up one by one, and we play for 3 or 4. We all put them all in there, and then you mark a distance, and from that distance, it's like a snake. Like there's the head, and then there's a tail. If you hit the head and it knocks the head out of the triangle, I mean the rectangle shape, you get to keep all the marble. Right? But if you hit it like right in the middle, you only get to keep from where you hit down to the tail.
I see.
Yeah, so it's pretty fun.
So you had some good times.
Yeah.
Did you mostly play with other boys, or the girls play too, or
No, girls, they
play their own games?
They play other games.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have other games to play.
So what does your house look like growing up? Was it a traditional Cambodian house? Was it raised up, or?
You call it traditional. I mean, 4 stick,
Yeah. Well, I mean the raised up type. Or,
raised up, yeah.
Pretty simple though.
Yeah,
Bamboo.
bamboos and straws, roofing.
Did you have to help fix it up?
I was too young
Yeah,
then.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, little back to the challenges a little bit before toward the end here. Is that you said you were traded for a bag of rice to a Thai family, and was it to sort of servant? Did you have to be a servant in the house? What'd you do when you went to the Thai home?
Oh, well, the reason my dad traded me, I didn't know. But I did talk about it before it happened. He did ask me a question. He said, do you want to go live with Thai people? And for me, something told me several days before that I wanted to. And when he confirmed that, it kind of confirmed my feelings. Say, okay. So we travel all day long across a mountain to the other side of the mountain. And then we met a Thai family. And my little sister, Chut, the sister after me, and then there was Bo, the youngest. Chut went with me, and my dad and a few other Khmer people went also to look for food and all that. And when we got there, we met a family, and he gave me to a Thai family. Couple has one daughter, very young couple, and he in turn give my dad a bag of rice. I'm guessing maybe about 50 pounds bag of rice, and he gave my sister to a neighbor family.
Oh, so your sister was also given away.
Yeah, and he works the rest of the day, try to earn some money or some food, and at the end of the day, when before the sun set, he's starting to go back to the rest of my family on the other side. And when the evening come, he started his trip, and my sister Chut saw him leave. She started to cry, and very, very hard. And she was pulling away from that family that she was given to.
So it was just you and your sister were given to families, two of you?
Yeah, two, me and her, and two different family.
Okay. So
Yeah.
not in the same area? Did you ever see
The
each
same
other?
area.
So did you see each other sometimes?
Well, when my dad leave that day,
Yeah.
my sister started to cry so hard. The Thai family that took my sister in felt really bad, so they let her go. She ran after my dad, and from what I saw, out of the view of my eyes, she hasn't met my dad yet. He was already into the mountain.
Oh, I see. So she probably didn't find him.
Yeah, she probably didn't. From that day, the thing that's in my head was, did she die? Did she get eaten by animals?
Yeah.
Did she suffer? Did she ever get back? For 30-some years, that was in my head.
And you met up with her again later?
When I found the family.
When you connected again?
Yeah.
So what did you do in that home? Did you help out with things, or what did you do?
Farm. Cotton.
So basically, you were sort of a worker.
Working, yeah. Picking cotton from the cotton field.
Did they treat you okay?
They didn't really bother me. They just tell me what I need to do.
Did you work? They leave you alone?
Oh, yeah, I work.
Did you find friends there?
No, I didn't know the language, so I didn't really have friends. People look at me really strange 'cause they know I'm not Thai. They know that I'm Cambodian. The law states that in Thailand, you're not allowed to have Cambodian people live among you. If you find out, they're gonna
They can get fined or something.
they break the law. The soldier will come and I don't know what they're gonna do.
Mhm.
But we were not allowed to live among them.
Yeah. So you've already talked about some fairly serious challenges in your life and things you've been through. Can you think of some other things that you went through that are really difficult, and how you dealt with them over the years?
That was the thing. Heavenly Father, I didn't realize it until after I received the gospel. A while afterward, He didn't make me feel like it was a burden.
Mm-hmm.
I was going through the motions, but I was going through pretty light. I didn't really have much of a conscience that this is a suffering, Although I didn't have any food, we were starving, we were thirsty, but every day every time we go out, we always find something that's sufficient for the day.
So you live day
enough
to day.
to live day to day. Yeah.
So was your family, were they Buddhist? Were they practicing Buddhist?
Before the war, they tried to take me to the temple, and they were dragging me by my arm to the temple, and we received some kind of sprinkling water from the monk. That's what I remember. I'm guessing that's what we call Buddhism, baptism. You know, I never really into it.
So your family didn't go to temple much, or you don't remember too much of that?
We were away from the temple. Where we were at, we were strictly farmers, and we were distant from the city.
Did you practice any like ancestral rites? Did you have like a spirit house or anything like that?
They do have. My dad, I remember, he built some, just a piece of wood with some roofing.
So kind of a simple spirit house.
Yeah.
Did you do some rites there?
I was too young.
You don't remember that?
Yeah, I remember.
So Buddhism wasn't a big part of your life then?
No, not really.
Okay.
I'm glad that I didn't, though. It would have been
Well,
tough to convert.
What's really interesting to me was you talking is you seem to have had a really good sense of your purpose early on in life, and you seem to think that God had a purpose for you very young, right?
Yeah.
Which is very unusual for somebody that age, and so.
Yeah.
Can you talk? What other things that if you were thinking, what do I want my kids to know about who you are, and what your life experiences? What would you pass? If they were sitting in the room here, what would you tell them? What would you want to tell them about your life? And
every day, this is a concern of mine. Now that I have my kids, I just want them to follow the commandments. Because the only thing that's important in this world is each other, family, and what we do as far as obedience. How much obedience are we? Are we obedient enough to qualify ourselves for His kingdom that He's prepared for us? And that's why now I take them to seminary each morning. It is difficult, it is early and all that, but they are reluctant, but I give them choice, and they make the right choice so far. And I just want them to understand the whole purpose is that, we live here as family, we try to do our best here, and then the next life hopefully will be together. And that's why we got married in the temple.
So what would you consider, I think I know the answer to this, but what would you consider the most important and best memories of your life?
Oh, I wish I had money when I was younger. I didn't have to work so hard, so I can spend time, with friends and families,
So what's your work now? What kind of work do you do?
In 1998, I finally got accepted by the Los Angeles Sheriff Department, and I'm a deputy sheriff.
So you work in law enforcement now?
Yeah.
And you work locally in this area or all around LA?
I'm in Downey, but I work all over. Yeah, before LA, North LA, and then West all the way, and then here locally.
So anything else? In a minute we're going to ask you to show us some of the things you brought, but is there anything else you sort of want to share with us?
No, I wish that, I don't know how Heavenly Father chose me to come here to America. I'm still clueless, because I'm not anywhere close to being smart. I didn't make the right choice as far as education when I was younger. I wish that my brother would have been here instead of me, but he chose me out of all my family members to receive the gospel. I went back and tried to share with my family the gospel, and I went to the church in Battambang, brought them some Book of Mormons so they can read. So my wish is that if they ever look at this video, if they ever find out about the video, that they need to know that Heavenly Father is real, heaven is real, Christ is real. It's not Buddhism. They need to follow Christ's commandment, and that they would be accepted to accepting the gospel of Jesus Christ. And that would be one of my main goal, I guess, or
Okay.
hope.
Well, thank you. And maybe we'll wrap up this formal part of the interview, but maybe can you bring out the things you wanted to show us?
Of course,